What if I told you that every toxic person in your life is actually your greatest teacher of inner strength? Right now, someone is crushing your spirit, controlling your emotions, making you feel small, and you're about to learn the ancient Stoic secret to not just survive, but absolutely dominate these interactions. Harmful people are everywhere, in our families, workplaces, and social circles. Marcus Aurelius understood that these individuals aren't your problem. Your reaction to them is the real challenge. The moment you realize you cannot control their behavior, but can master your response, you unlock an extraordinary form of personal power called the dichotomy of control. Toxic relationships operate like psychological vampire systems, systematically draining your energy and emotional resources. Epictetus would argue that your primary battlefield isn't external, but internal. Every interaction with a harmful person is an opportunity to practice virtue ethics, transforming potential emotional destruction into a moment of profound self-mastery. The Stoic mindset isn't about tolerating abuse, it's about creating impenetrable psychological boundaries. When someone attempts to manipulate or harm you, you have a choice: engage in their destructive game or maintain your inner peace. Healthy boundaries aren't walls of protection, but strategic filters that preserve your mental and emotional integrity. Self-control techniques become your most powerful weapons against toxic interactions. Imagine your mind as an advanced fortress, where each potential emotional invasion is carefully analyzed and neutralized. Not every provocation demands a response. Strategic detachment isn't weakness, it's the highest form of psychological intelligence. Practical wisdom teaches that perception determines reality. Most people react to harmful individuals from a place of hurt or immediate anger. Stoics, however, approach such encounters with analytical curiosity. They ask, what can this challenging interaction teach me about myself? How can I grow stronger and more resilient through this experience? Amor Fati, the Stoic principle of loving one's fate, becomes a transformative concept when dealing with harmful people. Instead of seeing toxic interactions as personal attacks, view them as opportunities for developing unshakable mental strength. Every challenging relationship becomes a training ground for your most powerful self, where resilience is forged through intentional response. The modern application of Stoicism to life demands we understand that our emotional reactions are choices, not involuntary responses. When a toxic individual attempts to provoke you, they're essentially presenting a test. Your job isn't to win their game, but to demonstrate complete mastery over your internal state. This requires extraordinary self-discipline and a profound understanding of your own emotional landscape. Detachment from negativity doesn't mean becoming cold or unfeeling. It means creating enough emotional distance to observe the interaction without becoming entangled in its destructive energy. Think of yourself as a skilled navigator steering through a storm, where the toxic person represents turbulent waters. Your goal is safe passage, not confrontation. Marcus Aurelius would remind us that people who harm others are often suffering themselves. This doesn't excuse their behavior, but provides a perspective of compassionate understanding. By recognizing the pain behind harmful actions, you transform potential resentment into an opportunity for personal growth and emotional intelligence. Understanding the difference between empathy and emotional engagement is crucial. You can acknowledge someone's pain without absorbing their negativity. Healthy boundaries mean recognizing where their emotional world ends and yours begins. This is the ultimate act of self-preservation in dealing with toxic relationships. Epictetus taught that our power lies not in controlling external circumstances, but in managing our internal responses. When confronted with harmful individuals, your first strategic move is psychological disengagement. This doesn't mean becoming passive, but becoming purposefully selective about where you invest your emotional energy. The most powerful response to toxicity is often calm, calculated non-engagement. Imagine these harmful people as emotional storms trying to penetrate your carefully constructed fortress of inner peace. Your goal isn't to fight the storm, but to remain unshakable at its center. This requires tremendous mental discipline and a deep commitment to your own psychological well-being. Self-control techniques become your primary defense mechanism. When a toxic person attempts to provoke you, they're essentially throwing emotional bait. Your job is to recognize the invitation to conflict and consciously choose not to accept. This isn't weakness, it's the highest form of personal mastery. You're demonstrating that their behavior cannot disturb your internal equilibrium. Stoicism provides a remarkable framework for transforming potentially destructive interactions into opportunities for personal growth. Each encounter with a harmful person becomes a chance to practice virtue ethics, to demonstrate your commitment to maintaining integrity, regardless of external pressures. Your response is a reflection of your inner strength, not their provocations. Practical wisdom teaches us that true power isn't about winning arguments or proving points, but maintaining your core values under pressure. When toxic individuals attempt to manipulate or destabilize you, they're actually presenting a unique opportunity to demonstrate your psychological sophistication. Your silence can be more powerful than any verbal retaliation. The Stoic approach to handling harmful people requires a sophisticated understanding of human psychology. It's not about creating emotional barriers, but developing an intelligent filtering system that protects your mental landscape. Marcus Aurelius would argue that true strength lies in understanding the deeper motivations behind toxic behaviors without becoming emotionally entangled. Toxic relationships often operate through complex manipulation techniques designed to erode your self-confidence. The key is recognizing these patterns without internalizing them. Your mental strength becomes your most powerful shield, transforming potential emotional wounds into opportunities for profound personal development. Each interaction becomes a strategic assessment of your internal resources. Healthy boundaries are not walls, but carefully constructed membranes that allow you to interact with the world while maintaining your core integrity. Epictetus understood that our greatest power lies in choosing our response to external circumstances. When confronted with harmful individuals, you're not a victim. You're a skilled navigator of complex emotional terrain. The dichotomy of control becomes your guiding principle in navigating toxic relationships. You cannot control the actions of harmful people, but you can absolutely control your perception, response, and emotional investment. This understanding transforms potentially destructive interactions into opportunities for practicing extraordinary self-mastery. Practical wisdom demands that you view these challenging relationships as advanced emotional training grounds. Each encounter with a toxic individual is a chance to demonstrate your commitment to personal growth, to show that your inner peace is not something that can be easily disrupted by external provocations. Your calm becomes your most powerful statement. The ultimate Stoic mastery lies in transforming toxic interactions into profound personal growth opportunities. Your relationship with harmful people becomes a mirror reflecting your deepest psychological capabilities. When you refuse to be emotionally manipulated, you're not just protecting yourself, you're rewriting the entire dynamic of human interaction. Amor Fati takes on a revolutionary meaning when applied to challenging relationships. Instead of seeing toxic individuals as enemies, view them as unexpected teachers of your most critical life lessons. Every provocation becomes a chance to demonstrate extraordinary emotional intelligence, to show that your inner peace is fundamentally unbreakable. Your calm becomes your most powerful weapon. Stoicism to modern life means understanding that mental strength isn't about eliminating challenging people, but about developing such profound self-control that their attempts to destabilize you become meaningless. You become like a solid mountain unmoved by temporary storms, constant in your core values, unshakable in your commitment to personal integrity. The most sophisticated form of self-defense is complete emotional non-attachment. When toxic people realize their manipulations cannot penetrate your psychological fortress, they lose their primary source of power. You transform from a potential victim to a master of your emotional universe, demonstrating a level of personal sovereignty that few can comprehend. Epictetus would celebrate your ability to turn potentially destructive interactions into opportunities for self-actualization. Your response to harmful people becomes a testament to your commitment to personal growth, a living demonstration that true power resides not in external control, but in your capacity to maintain inner equilibrium under extreme psychological pressure. Mental liberation begins when you fully internalize the Stoic understanding that your internal world is entirely your own domain. Harmful people lose their power the moment you recognize that their attempts to control your emotions are nothing more than external noise, completely irrelevant to your core self. You become the sole architect of your psychological experience. Marcus Aurelius would remind us that true freedom isn't about eliminating difficult people from your life, but about developing such profound self-awareness that their actions become insignificant. Your mental strength transforms these challenging interactions into opportunities for demonstrating extraordinary emotional intelligence. Each provocation becomes a chance to showcase your psychological sophistication. The most advanced form of self-control is the ability to remain completely neutral in the face of toxic manipulation. Imagine yourself as a highly sophisticated emotional filter, where negative energy simply passes through without leaving any residue. You're not fighting against harmful people. You're rendering their attempts to destabilize you completely ineffective. Epictetus teaches us that our greatest power lies in our ability to choose our response. When toxic individuals attempt to drag you into their emotional chaos, you have a choice. You can either become entangled in their destructive narrative or remain a calm, observant presence that refuses to be drawn into unnecessary conflict. Practical wisdom demands that you view these interactions as advanced psychological training. Each encounter with a harmful person is an opportunity to practice virtue ethics, to demonstrate your commitment to maintaining inner peace regardless of external circumstances. Your calm becomes a powerful statement of personal mastery. Your journey with Stoic principles isn't just about handling toxic people. It's about reclaiming your psychological sovereignty. The wisdom of ancient philosophers isn't a distant historical concept, but a living, breathing strategy for navigating the most challenging human interactions. You've been handed the keys to transform potentially destructive relationships into opportunities for unprecedented personal growth. Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus didn't just offer philosophical theories. They provided a revolutionary roadmap for maintaining inner peace in a world filled with emotional complexity. Every toxic interaction you've ever experienced becomes a training ground for developing extraordinary mental strength. Your ability to remain calm, detached, and strategically responsive is your ultimate form of personal empowerment. The Stoic mindset is your secret weapon in a world that often seems designed to destabilize your emotional equilibrium. You're no longer a passive recipient of others' toxic energy. Instead, you become a masterful navigator of human dynamics, capable of maintaining your integrity and inner peace regardless of external provocations. Your calm becomes your most powerful statement. This isn't about becoming emotionally cold or disconnected. It's about developing such profound self-awareness that harmful people lose their ability to impact your core being. You're learning to transform every challenging interaction into an opportunity for personal development, turning potential emotional wounds into sources of extraordinary strength and wisdom. Your journey of psychological mastery starts now. Every moment becomes a chance to practice the art of emotional intelligence, to demonstrate that your inner peace is fundamentally unbreakable. You are not just surviving toxic relationships, you are transcending them, becoming the most powerful version of yourself. If this perspective resonates with you, if you're ready to dive deeper into the transformative power of Stoic wisdom, continue exploring. Your journey of personal transformation is just beginning.